All right, we are live from the apocalypse, and I hope that the audience can hear me this time. Audiences, you're getting settled. Please let me know if for some reason you have issues hearing my audio, as my camera, of course. Oh, awesome! You can hear me. Audio's good. Okay. All
Huzzah.
right. We are back. We are here to, well, play some more Two-Headed Serpent. Let's join our heroes on this continued adventure. So, hello, heroes.
Sense.
Hi.
It's also great to just have everyone back in one place and see all your smiling, happy faces. It does bring joy into my life. Um, when we last left our heroes, they were traveling on their way back from Bolivia. They had managed to rescue the snake priestess Tyrannish from the clutches of the Inner Knight, who were trying aggressively to free her, capture her. It's a little unclear, but they had a plan that didn't succeed because the heroes stopped them. Um, in this process, the heroes also managed to, save a humanitarian aid camp and bring themselves into further good graces with Caduceus, who has promised to help them even more on their journey to, well, save the world and unpack this mystery. So the journey back takes a little while, right? This is travel by boat in the 1920s. So accommodations are good. Caduceus has paid for the stuff you need, but it's a little cramped. It's a little stuffy still. And you have a little bit of time to kill. And I know that Cecil wanted to talk a little more with Tyrannish on the boat. Is there anything else that people want to cover immediately as that goes?
I will probably spend my time, fairly secluded in my cabin, just poring over the interesting artifacts that we've recovered.
Cool.
It's going to be fueling my research for months to come.
One of the things that I think Oliver is very interested in is that chest you found with Tyrannish. One of the things that was in there was a ornate scepter, and there is a what looked like an inlet placeholder for a crown of some type, and but there's no crown to be found. Just a nice place for it. So it's something of intrigue, right? All right.
Mm. Evidence of absence is perhaps absence of evidence in this case.
It's unknown, unknown. What else? What else are people doing on this boat? Recovering and chilling is absolutely an option. We can move forward to New York after Cecil has a chance to talk with Tyrannish a little more.
I do want to try and wrap the presents, the souvenirs that I got
Excellent.
with anything that I can find. If that's napkins from the commissary events. I'm trying to think of what
This nice
else.
bag of leaves from the Bolivian folks.
Yeah, some leaves. I don't know, maybe like a hand stitch, like a
Make a very
washcloth.
stimulating tea.
I'm gonna go with Wendy's gonna offer to help you with that. If working in laundry, we fold pretty well, right? But she's gonna ask for you to teach her how to hit shit. Because our response was to monkey crawl on somebody before. So all right, just show me how to hit a thing and I'll wrap your presents for you. I will fold them up nicely. It'll be great. But help me hit a thing.
Absolutely. I'm going to show you how to. I don't know how to actually fight, so all of this is me making this up. I'm going to show you how to tuck your thumb so you don't break it. I'm going to, hold my hands up so you can practice aiming and hitting, and show you how to stand and move your feet. I'll get you in tip-top shape so you can fight all the goons in New York.
This awesome fighting montage in the background. Do me a favor, each of you. Kelly, roll a spot hidden, and Wendy, roll a either fighting brawl or a dexterity roll. just curious how
Okay.
this all plays out.
All right. And you said either, sorry, dexterity or brawl?
Mm-hmm. Unless
Yeah,
you'd like to use strength, but I think dexterity's higher for you.
Nope. Good success, not extraordinary success.
Okay, cool.
Regular.
I'm pretty sure this is just 100. It's all zeros. That's 100, right?
Yes.
Yep.
0,
Yeah,
0,
first
0
roll
is
of the night.
100. Excellent. Let's just get that out of the way real quick. That is, if you're gonna fail a roll, that's the one to fail.
Right.
I'll say this: the materials you find for wrapping, even with Wendy's help, are just disappointing. Right? You make do with what you're able to kind of scrape together, but like as you're looking at this, like you just keep adding more stuff to these gifts to try to like spruce it up. Like, maybe I can use this rope as a bow, and like these abandoned leaflets as this is where we are now. Okay. It's the thought that counts. Woof. But I think you're able to kind of channel that, like, where you lack in that, fine presentation of gift wrapping, you're able to more than make up in training, right? As you were just having these awesome training montages, and I'm picturing like, an early morning kind of sparring, and then like late at night, like different like cool backgrounds silhouetted against the sun, or a couple different like landscape features as you're passing by, islands or coastline, that kind of stuff, and working through these awesome boxing and fighting techniques. Is there a specific technique that you want to try to get Wendy to master? Your special brand of fisticuffs.
Yeah, what did we say? It was like my left jab or something like that. That's like my go-to.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna teach you that patented and show you how to put speed behind it and start at the hips and waist and bring the shoulder across, so it really lands solid.
You gotta remember, the most important part about punching is like the power wind up beforehand. Even with a jab, you gotta like just store the power, and then you can just throw it out there. That was a cross, but no, this training montage goes very well. Cecil, as you're talking with Tyrannus, this is a summary of conversations, right? When she sits down and talks with you, the conversation is very short. She seems kind of scattered still, seems kind of low energy still, as if she's just trying to, pull herself out of that like 1,000-year power nap that she just took, and is a little still disoriented about being awake, which who hasn't been there, right? But
there now.
Yeah, Justin, fucking grip it, baby.
One jappy boy.
Yeah, dude, crack one for the big boy.
Excellent username. Thank you for the donation. Absolutely amazing. Redeem. Why not? So.
I mean, that does make sense. If we're going to be training, we do need to get some fisticuffs vocabulary in here.
Yeah, I'll take a step back for 1 second. Obviously, the most important part of fighting is the technique, but you got to learn how to just trash talk your opponent, right? Because you got to strike fear into their heart. So, does Wendy have a good trash talk catchphrase that she wants to throw out there?
No, I'm trying to remember the last time when we didn't end up playing the whole game. The thing that I was pulling out was like for Kelly, since you have one mode for everything, that was like, well, every problem looks like a nail when you've got these hammer hands. But that's
approved.
Signed off and certified. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, you can just hear just say with confidence. Get in there. Excellent. Yeah, thank you for the donation. So, Cecil, as you're having these conversations with Tyrannish, her room is very spare, right? She's kind of made like a small, just comfortable looking nest in the corner, right? Just taking like blankets and like the mattress and stuff like that and kind of piled it up, and is like almost lounging on it as you come in. And she sits up and says, "Ah, yes, the adept. Please come in and sit." And gestures towards a pillow on the floor.
He kind of like takes like a moment to bow and sits down. He's like, you may call me Cecil if you like, lady.
Cecil.
Is it
of course.
Appropriate to call you by your full name, by your title?
You may call me Tyrannish. Of course.
Kind of smiles, his teeth gleam just a little bit. And he says, do you know any reason why those people may have been after you? They seemed to think that you were going to be their savior, and I don't know if they were truly going about it in the right way. They also seemed like they wanted to do harm to the world.
Excuse me. Roll psychology.
Yes.
Right off the bat.
You got it.
Or,
Not terrible. A 20 under 34, so regular.
Okay, very cool.
No, wait a second. 00 means the I think that was a 2 actually.
002?
Yeah. The 00 and then the regular 2.
Excellent.
Or 200? No, I'm kidding.
All right. Critical amounts of power.
Twice.
Twice is bad? We'll go 2. She says, I'll tell you what she says and I'll tell you what you get from that, right? She says, there are a lot of things in play that I once understood very well. And since time has passed, my perceptions and my orientation of this world and the powers in it are not as keen as they should be. So I can't account for the actions of other, you would call them, she like does that thing where she's kind of pulling vocabulary from you to like fill in the English that she's kind of learning as you go. I can't account for the actions of my other snake kin, but I also can't speak ill of their motivations, being so far removed from what has happened. I am glad that you intervened, so I had to have time to think and have time to relearn this world. It gives you like a nod. You're pretty perceptive, right? It's pretty valid. She's been out for a minute. It is also 100% clear to you that there is a level of just, you're not, there's not enough trust there at this point for her to really open up to you in that way. The opportunities are abound for you to build it, but that seems to be the thing that's holding her back.
Cecil nods and he's like, oh, that makes perfect sense. I often need a bit of time to recollect myself before getting about my day after I wake up, although I suppose your nap was much longer than any normal mortal. And he tries to like make a joke and keeps his mind open enough for her to kind of like glean that if she can.
She smiles. She's amused.
Good.
So
he says like I'd love to continue to visit you. And you ever if you ever are tired of these interruptions, I'm happy to leave you. Need but say the word. Um uh however, because you seem to have a lot of insight into the world, even if you're not keenly on top of it anymore. I've had several encounters with strange entities myself, and I have developed perceptions beyond my own kin. In fact, I actually shared a dream with you at one point, days before we actually rescued you. I would like to develop those so I can protect myself better. If you have that kind of training, or if you'd be willing to do it.
She takes a moment to kind of think and looks you up and down and kind of looks through you in that way, right? It's seen more towards like the spiritual you, or like your soul almost. It's a very piercing gaze.
It shivers a little bit.
She says, I would be interested in working with someone of your talent, for sure.
Thank you.
Perhaps.
And I'll go ahead. Don't mean to interrupt.
I'll save that for another day. Please continue.
Thank you very, very much. I've only truly had one mentor, and he kind of like grimaces and is it's not something that I would want to. His methods were very different, and I probably wouldn't want to return to those. But you seem a gentle soul, and I like your energy. And if there is anything you need to know about the world, you are very, very lucky, as there are several people on this boat that are quite learned. I would speak to Oliver most definitely. If you want things that are a little bit closer to where we're going, knowledge about that, most definitely speak to Wendy and Ash. They're folks about town, as it were.
Nods and says, I'm impressed with the advances that your kind has made in the last millennia. It is truly wonderful. I'd like to speak with everyone more about that. And I think that is a thing that comes up as on the boat, right? A lot of awkward conversations about like some things very simple, like, hey, what's up with this boat? How did you get it to move? Like, what is your method of? Is this an engine? Is this steam? Like, is this? She throws up a couple other like crazy things that are nonsensical out there, and like, no, it's not that. It's just we just made an engine that moves things. Okay, cool. But
ether crystals.
Yeah, that's not ether crystals or like dream waves.
Quantum.
Yeah,
it's all quantum.
But also is just happy to like walk around and just ask about the state of the world, right? Basic questions like what do you mean there was a world war? Why did that happen? Right? Because World War One just occurred, or the Great War rather.
There's a show off Archduke Ferdinand, and I have never met
him yet.
Right. True.
Such an ostentatious man.
But as we kind of fade out from that conversation, she talks a little bit more about like power with you, and talks about the history, and talks about like just what is up in the world and the culture of people now. Because as an 8-foot tall purple snake person who's been asleep in some sort of like weird fever dream for 1,000 years, she's a little out of touch and trying to kind of bridge that gap. But she does say, when we are back and set up, I'd be more than happy to train with you further, and any other adepts in your group. There's a few.
He kind of thinks for a minute, and he's just like, if you ever speak to dear Wendy, do be gentle.
Of course.
Anyway, like they continue to talk, but he is simply fascinated, but in reverence, because he's very excited to possibly learn to better control what extrasensory perceptions he has.
Hell yeah.
So like comes up and meets with everybody else, and he just explains that like she wants to learn more about the world, so I suggest you all at least get a couple of minutes in with her when she's not dozing. Hi, Wendy. Why do you have those wrapped around your hands?
Well, some of this is left over from wrapping presents, and like I'm gonna have like pieces of like newspaper that's still kind of like stuck to. I think we ended up a little bit more in the paper mache route, but they're wrapped now. But Kelly was showing me how to throw a punch.
He's quite good at
the patented left jab punch.
What was that, Oliver?
Is that seaweed on your hands?
Some of it.
Good eye. I thought that was fine.
It's an exotic present.
They're gonna love it. Gonna be great.
Great.
I show off some of the moves.
I'll hold my hands up.
Yeah. So like Wendy's gonna like take her time getting her like, fists in the right place, and then like, like right foot further back, and like, turning a little bit. Like doing a little of the like bouncy bit. And then she's gonna like, throw the jab into one of Kelly's fists. So like twist and then like boop, like real, just like nice, like perfectly on target, but real gentle. And like
we're getting there. We're getting there.
I mean, obviously it will be harder
Give
the next time.
But I just give a look sort of over Kelly's shoulder to a couple sailors walking down the gangway toward us. I'm like, go the other way. We're having a moment.
They look like they're about to say something. They look at you and they're like, all right.
Like, very concerned with the form. Like the form is, exactly as described, but we're not like putting a whole lot of force behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just very proud dad moment. Just like, you doing great, kid.
Excellent work. And how is your homework, as it were, coming along? What's the crack on that?
She's gonna hold up like a like legal pad with like multiple pages of like just like a rambling essay about like the history of the different monuments that are available to be seen along like the mall and the reflecting pool, and like this was built here like in order to commemorate blank, and being like, I feel like it's convincing that I learned a thing, but it's not actually going to get me a grade or anything, so maybe I might have to negotiate that with one of my teachers. Well, like it wasn't the assigned work, but I still did something cool. They might not care. Very American.
There is an aside conversation that I feel happens at one point. When Tyranish hears about the fact that you've composed a paper about the history of the capital of the nation she's about to go to, she asks, "Can I read the scrolls or the text that you've prepared for this? You are clearly a scholar, yes."
It's a very cursory report, but I'd be happy to deliver it. Wendy's handwriting is not the greatest. Like it's clearly like this was, also like being that like this is not my first script kind of a deal. Like it's legible, but it's kind of mimicked. So like, how about I explain what's on the paper, and anyone can fill in if they've been there. I still haven't been there. I just wrote about it.
Fascinating.
Yeah. So she'll like sit and start being like, okay, so this space was designed by this French guy and he didn't like John Jay, and like, no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yep.
One last scene before we wrap up the boat, and that is with Oliver.
You know that I'm a professor of history, right?
Oh yeah.
Could have asked.
I mean, do you jump in?
Okay, I appreciate you branching out on your own. I'm not. I don't miss the mention at all. It's fine.
It's all saltwater here.
I just figured you were into more interesting history than this stuff. Like skipping a street isn't the coolest of.
Here's my question.
No.
You, Oliver, have a large amount of text. You have these large scrolls, right? That you recovered from the temple in Bolivia. I'm assuming that you've spent a lot of your time trying to go through them and translate them. They are in a very similar language that you saw written on that well written in the temple. It's Nakal, right? As we've come to know it, but it's that same
right.
That same type of language that you can start to identify bits and pieces of. You are welcome, if you'd like, to study this more, to make either Cthulhu Mythos roll, or an intelligence roll, but the intelligence roll is going to be a lot more difficult.
Okay.
I guess it'd be education, actually, in this case.
Yeah.
But
I'll roll Mythos just to see what happens here.
Get it.
Let's see, what do I have to clear for Mythos? 17.
Ooh, that actually might be a success for you.
No. That's my hurdle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just a second. 100, where are you? Sorry, I'm doing it on a dice roller on my phone.
Got it. No worries.
That, if you can see it, is a 7.
Holy cow! All right. The undertaking of translating these.
That's a great success.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. The undertaking of translating.
One madness, please.
I got you. Of translating these entire scrolls will take a lot of time, right? That said, it doesn't mean you can't. You have it. It takes a couple weeks to travel back. So these scrolls are.
I assume I can use Tyrannish, the Rosetta Stone, for parts of it too, if it's willing to play ball.
That is a valid question. Do me a favor and roll a charm or persuade on that.
Okay. Actually, my charm's not terrible, but that's a 91, so that's not going anywhere.
Okay. She is happy. When you present the scrolls to her, she says, "Those I am happy, of course, to work with you as you've all worked with me to bring me up to raise my awareness of your world. I am happy to share some history of mine. I do feel it's worth making clear that those scrolls do belong to me. And I have no issue with you using them to learn, but they are ultimately mine. If you wish to continue to study them, I ask that you do it with me. Is that a fair arrangement?
I can respect that.
Of course.
And I appreciate your yeah.
She teaches you a little more than a call and gives you a little more information to let you translate. And is interested to see just how you work on your own, right? Every now and then, if you get stuck, we'll give you a little more information. But is very intrigued to watch Oliver puzzle this whole thing out. And is impressed with your level of both tenacity and educational prowess, right?
I'm pretty good at what I do, I guess.
You're very good at it. And you translate the first bit of these scrolls, and it talks about a place called Mu, M-U, right? Mu is another world, another dimension, if you will, another place. Is not this one. And it is a place where these serpent people seem to dwell and come from. And it makes mention of two things that you're able to translate initially. A great citadel, right? A bastion of knowledge and science and technology. And a very bloody and damaging civil war between serpent people. It's kind of the intro to these scrolls. It would take you, there's plenty more in there, but it will take you just more time to sit and translate. But
okay. What I'd like to do is, at the very least, transcribe copies, hopefully using my pen of eternal record, so that I can not be affected necessarily by the content of the text, but at least have something where I can give the originals back to Tyrannish and at the time we get off the ship and say, yeah, we'll follow your lead on this. I'll give these back once we're back in New York, and then I've made some notes, of course, but I'll need your help to further translate.
I think with your skills and the pen, you're able to make a full copy. Now, it's a little wibbly wobbly because you're basically transcribing a whole book, but you know what? It's good. You have a magical item that helps you with that. So
the keys are rolling, yeah.
That said, I do want to pull that up because a roll here could be interesting. Okay, do me a favor, make a sanity check. I mean, roll twice and take the better roll.
Okay, I mean, if you want to give me hypergraphia, which would, technically be... Okay, let's see. Yeah, no.
Did you fail both?
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. Do me a favor. You end up. Here's the pro. The pro is your Cthulhu Mythos goes up by 4%. Right. As you pull out this, you pull out the pen, you start to transcribe, and even as you're transcribing the call, and you still haven't fully translated all of this information, the weight of this knowledge starts to weigh on your mind. Like you can almost feel the power and the history of these words as you start making copies of it and realizing that you were taking a ancient and long forgotten knowledge of a hidden civilization and making that knowledge your own now in a very powerful way. And now that you've interacted with it and your thoughts have mingled around it, creating an entirely new perception on that reality, right? Which may or may not be a normal thing in most cases, but given your magical potential and knowledge, this comes with some complications. So, add 4 Cthulhu Mythos to your skill. Take 4 sanity damage, please, in the process of absorbing the power of these words into your very mind and soul. The good thing is, you don't need to actually I don't think Oliver finishes the actual transcription because of the side effect of the pen says that information is burnt into your mind permanently. So you are the map, right? How's Oliver?
and Dora the Explorer.
Yep. How does Oliver react to that over the couple days? I feel of just like transcribing and like putting things on walls and making insane notes and talking to yourself and missing meals and being just a little isolated.
Yeah. No, I'm I'm a little obsessive at the best of times, but I think for sure I'm locked in my cabin for several days. I don't eat, I barely sleep. There's definitely some like magnets and string and like pegboard on the walls with all sorts of diagrams sketched everywhere. At one point I think I probably run out of ink in my little inkwell that I brought with me, so I'm just like, burning things to like write with the ash, and it's a couple times the crew comes to check on me to make sure that I'm not like lighting the ship on fire.
Yep. Every now and then people like knock on your door and you find that your friends have left you food outside the room.
I was gonna say Wendy's gonna like have left little like crackers or whatever, and like
Yeah, you have a full secondary copy.
But there's like 4. Yeah, there's like 4 cloches in the hallway outside, each with like a separate untouched meal in it.
Yep. But you can add to your sheet. You have a full copy of the Annals of MU, like just accessible to you wherever, whenever. You can write it from memory. It's been burned into your mind, and I think you are passively trying to translate the information as you just exist, which is cool. And you can use that as part of the source of your Cthulhu Mythos to further answer questions from those translations. Wow, cool. I like dice rolls.
Wow.
What a week of travel. What a week of travel indeed. You make it back to New York, right? Caduceus paid for this ship, right? They paid for privacy. They did a very good job setting that up. When they get to New York, it is nighttime. Quentin, Shekels, and a few others meet you all at the docks, and very quickly get all of you back to the Caduceus building, Tyrannus included. Right? They introduce themselves. They're very formal. They have a quick exchange on the boat and then move back to the headquarters itself, where they go to get her settled in. And Quentin starts talking to the four of you, right? You go back upstairs to that same office where, Shekels had all the smoke rolling out of his quartermaster's suite. Heading back down the other direction is a very nice library and briefing room, and I'm talking old historical texts, first editions, like no expenses spared on this private collection of intense knowledge. And he sits you all down. Says, "Now I know that was a wild trip, and I know there's a lot of stuff we have to take care of, kind of resetting from that excursion. But I wanted to just get everyone back here first and do a quick thank you, right? Of course, we've got some food and drink. Please help yourself. Just want to have a quiet place to sit down and talk and just get you settled, and of course get Tyrannus settled." And as he points down the hallway, you can see Tyrannus has been brought up and is actually talking to a gentleman who's a little shorter. He's about 5'4", 5'5", but he's got gravitas, if you will. He's much older, like shocking white hair that kind of goes back and down to almost the back of his neck. Long white beard to go with it that he's like very carefully combed and maintained, but it's just like it could potentially be wild, but it's very, very slick and professionally kept. And he's dressed in go ahead.
I was just thinking Donald Sutherland in the Hunger Games.
Oh, kind of, yeah. didn't actually make that connection, but yeah. Dressed impeccably. Like, he is wearing a tuxedo, basically. It's the most formal attire that he has able to put on.
Morning coat.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's just, he just looks he looks like he's about to go to an ambassador's dinner, right? And you can see him talking with Tyrannus. Couple things to note about the building, right? Because we talked about Caduceus being a normal place where normal people work, but you are on one of the restricted floors, so you have a little more mobility, and the weird stuff that happens is a little more just out in the open up here, because your random HR person is not going to wander off the elevator into this area, right? But he's talking to her, and you notice even from afar, two other things. One, he walks with a very, very ornate cane, probably worth more than like a car. It's got just gold filigree. It's got like little gemstones inlaid on the top of it. It looks incredibly fancy. And his eyes are just piercing blue and set in the future, right? This is a man who's not concerned about now, he's concerned about where he will be. This is just a mechanism to his destiny, his end goal, his success. His eyes are very deliberate and focused, right? And so Quentin kind of gestures down the hallways, and we want to give, of course, Mr. Medham a chance to get Tyrannus settled in.
What is the gentleman's name?
Mr. Medham.
Mr. Medham. We've had a bit of back and forth, and for out of character, he's the guy that owns Caduceus entirely. It's just been a minute since we talked about it.
Yep.
So Quentin just says he's of course going to come by and send his regards as well, but we wanted to make sure that no disrespect to you, that Tyrannus got settled in first. This is much more shock to her, I feel, than anybody else.
As we're like being led out of the room, like Wendy's gonna kind of like keep her eye on like, okay, like that's what that guy looks like.
Mm-hmm.
He's the most important one. Okay, and then like that makes sense. Yeah, like I trust that. Yeah.
It's a weird thing because standing next to Tyrannus, is easily 2.5 feet taller than him. They feel like they're the same height, and just that like gravitas of personality.
Yeah. I've also taken like seconds of everything that's like healthier from the food that was available, and I just like as Oliver eats a little bit, I keep sneaking more of it onto his plate. You didn't eat on the boat.
Also, Wendy, do me a favor, make a quick spot hidden roll.
Okay.
So, as you're getting settled, all right?
Spot hidden. Yeah. Regular success.
Okay. You catch one quick thing out of the corner of your eye. So you see Mr. Medum and you see Tyrannish, and he gestures towards the elevator, and you see he pulls a key out of his pocket, right? And as he goes to get back into the elevator and is holding this very custom-looking key, inside there is not the normal doorman that you're used to seeing in the elevator. There is a just large brick of a person, bald head, just squished down forehead in a constant like frown and scowl, you know, like a frown.
Yeah, frown. No, I like it.
Yeah, just
very C.S. Lewis.
Yeah, just very angry
like,
looking dude.
Lewis Carroll. Yeah.
Yeah, with like arms the size of like Corinthian columns. And also like a nicer coat and jacket that was very clearly custom made. Who's like kind of following around in the background of this whole dialogue, and then like brings them into this elevator, and then they go upstairs.
So do I see him use the key on the elevator?
You don't see him use the key, but you can assume he does. Like you assume he pulled it out, and because you've looked in the elevator before, there are custom key slots for specific restricted floors. You can assume that is something that occurred. All right. Then they all disappear and go upstairs somewhere. So Quentin says, alright. So like I said, a lot of stuff past couple weeks, right? First and foremost, I want to thank you all for everything that happened. And on behalf of Mr. Medum, extend just great appreciation. He's been tracking this entire thing since since you left, but has been actively involved since that radio conversation we had. He points towards Oliver, and says he's instructed me to kind of sit down and do a Q&A with you to make sure that everything we have on the internet is something that you have and can, of course, use for the future. We don't want to send you out blind anymore, or at least at all. I want to get your feedback on your thoughts on anything that's of course bothering you. I guess I'll start with you. Is there anything you have for us? I'm sure you have questions. He adjusts his little red bow tie. I'm just sitting there at the table.
Has made any further headway with analyzing the strange glass book with the maps on it? And of all the things we've seen, that was by far the most peculiar, and there were a lot of peculiar things.
He nods and says, yeah, I'll actually let him talk to that. And he leaves and goes and gets Shekels, and Shekels is like, okay, so look, check it out. I played around with this thing, right? What it turns out to be is basically, okay, so you know how we got this telephone thing, right? So we can use telephone, we can talk to people, but you go to the movies and you see a movie and you see that, but it's basically that. It's basically a movie with a phone combined, and it has the ability to talk over just all sorts of crazy distances. I can't actually figure out how, because there's no wires or anything on the darn thing, but it's able to transmit and project to a pretty serious degree, further than any radio technology we currently have. Because if you need something that could transmit, halfway across the world, you need some infrastructure. You can't just do it out of. He's holding it with him. You can't just do it out of a glass box. But I guess they are. So it's definitely a communication device.
Perhaps Tyranish would have a little bit more insight into that.
I'd love to get her opinion on it. Mr. Medham said, and I quote, "Chill out. She doesn't need that right now." So, but yeah, I definitely want to ask her.
So,
I think they're just gonna have to take a second to get her settled in.
Andrew, we know it's a communication device. I used it to communicate with somebody, but it's a radio?
Hey, radio, video, yeah.
Choose over the radio?
Radio, right? This is tech I haven't seen before, so I'm making my best guess here. It seems to operate in the same way that our radios would, but using none of the same components. So I'm a little lost on that one. But I say radio
I have a friend. I have a friend in the physics department. He likes to frequent this bar. An absolute genius. We should go meet this genius friend of mine at the bar and discuss the device.
Yeah, it sounds cool. I'd love to meet him. Listen, and then like Quentin shoots him a look like, Professor Inverness, look, I would love to have more insight and opinion on this as well. Let's just be cautious as we bring more people into this endeavor. All right? I'm not saying no, just saying let's take a second to think before we start exposing more things to the outside world. And Shekels is like, yeah, I guess. He looks mad about it. Quinn says,
all right. I mean, sure, there's somebody besides Paul Dirac who could look at it, but that's fine.
I suppose the problem does become who can we trust? As we did find, there are quite a number of snake people who can wear the skin of humans. May have been similar people to the ones that we found when we found the box of stars. Is there any way that we can completely tell, aside from like pinching their cheeks and like moving them about?
Well, based on the descriptions of how you set this up, it sounds like their disguises are a step above movie latex. Like it under scrutiny doesn't really hold up. I have to wonder, what are types of mannerisms that you think stand out? Is there some type of like perhaps checklist we can consolidate that would help break down that identifier, right?
Well, you're gonna have
to those who were thralls tended to repeat the same action over and over.
All right.
Loss of memory.
Memory loss. Is that okay? So that could be a side effect of, potential mind-altering magic, right?
Those who would traded their skins or donned the skins of others, I'm assuming, often probably couldn't speak our language, or at least would often defer to whoever the leader was, calling out their name.
Interesting.
Approached with any complex question that a normal person would know, whether it be about the village, the world as a whole, or themselves, they'd often pause and then call out to the commanding captain.
Cool. Quentin says, I just want to clarify. This is... Actually, I want to clarify something out of character. So the people who are referencing those same questions over and over and like giving very simple responses, were the ones who were under some type of memory cloud, right?
Got it.
The snake people, not all of them are bright, perhaps, right? But they do have some autonomy.
Okay.
So, as Quentin says, it sounds more like a sign of mental manipulation of some type. You can give people, when you were describing what was happening down in the camps, we did a little bit of research. You can give people simple, basic commands, but anything that deviates from that causes them to effectively get confused or not know how to react. And that sounds exactly like what you're describing. I have some information I want to give out to all of you, right?
Please.
And that way, you can take it, you can process it, and of course, you can then go home, visit your families, make sure everything's good there, and we can talk again and what's gonna happen in the future. Because I'm sure it's not the last time we're gonna see the Inner Night, and I'm sure things are gonna change now that Tyrannish is around, and we'll probably have questions, right? So,
when you say visits, should we not plan on staying for very long at home?
He looks at Shekels, and Shekels gives him a look like, I didn't say it. Quinn says,
this has been a very productive trip, and I am quite keen to get back out into the field and find some more material for my research. I think it's critical that we, of course, make sure that everybody at home is all right. But yes, we should get back into the field and quickly.
There are. Thank you, Oliver. I admire your passion. I do, and that helps, right? So yes, the short answer is yes. I mean, he starts handing out these folders, right? That have. He starts handing out these manila folders with like a couple sheets inside. They've got some photos, and they've got some drawings, and they've got just some text. And he basically talks you through it and says, well, the reason I say soon, right? And I don't know what's going to happen next exactly, but I know this. This is what we compiled about the Inner Night and what happens, what their prophecies or their plans seem to be, right? The Inner Night is a group that they worship or believe in some type of entity called Shathaga, right? It's a weird, nightmarish type of creature that lives in darkness. And they have decided to. They believe that the only way to fully appease this Shathaga, is to spread darkness and mayhem across the world. Hence, the Inner Night, or they've also been called the Eternal Night. That is their plan. The thing is, they're not the only ones, right? We did a little more digging into. And he pauses and he says, "Can I get? Do you all want like a drink or something before? This is gonna be some real heavy stuff we're gonna get into. Like a real. It might change your. I know you've seen some things, but it really might change the way you look at the world after this. This may induce a sanity roll. So if you want to take a second to get right with that."
A wee bit more tea and maybe some whiskey would do the trick.
Of course, and like brings all those things in. Gets a little more food and says, "All right. So, outside of this entity, Shathaga, there is another great one, old one called Yig, right? It's the father of the serpents. It's the original founder of the serpent people, and they're one deity that they worshipped, and until the Inner Night broke off to worship something else. These two are at war. Every time they emerge, there are conflicts and fighting. So if the Inner Night is out and active, it's assumed that the followers of Yig are somewhere close by and intend to do them and anyone they perceive as an enemy harm. Right? This has only happened in small blips before, from what we can dig up. The interesting part of this equation is Tyrannish, who seems to be a catalyst for activity, right? It seems to be you could call it a chosen one. The way the text read is that she's someone with immense power who will tip the scales of these conflicts, thus ending them once and for all. So I think that's part of why the Internet was going after her. They believe they can get her on their side. They, of course, have the chosen one to represent them in the glorious battle of serpent people, if you will. I say visit your families because I don't know what's going to happen next, but I do believe, and Mr. Madden believes as well, that things are going to happen rapidly. And we're going to have to be prepared for anything. Unfortunately, that means a lot of scrambling and reacting to things that we might not entirely understand. I would like everyone, as you're kind of learning about this snake. Okay, I'm sorry, there's two options here. Everyone can make a sanity check if they choose, or they can simply just continue to immerse themselves in this knowledge that you've been given, right? Quentin basically says, you can study that as long as you like, but it has to stay here for obvious reasons. Like, this is not something that needs to be published out in the newspaper or seen by anybody outside of this building. It could alter how everyone perceives the world. But here, in this library, you're welcome to study all this and anything more. So what I'm saying is basically you can have a ton of Cthulhu Mythos with a lot of sanity damage, or you can try to bring it down, if you'd like.
I'm already at the card catalog.
Okay.
General sanity.
By rolling sanity, do we merely diminish the effects, but also diminish how immersed and how much we can call upon?
Yes.
Oh, essentially, do you want mythos or do you not want mythos?
Correct. You have been shown a thing. How long do you stare? Right, is basically it. Less sanity damage, less mythos points. More mythos, more sanity damage. Right.
Hard
how
success.
much are we talking about?
Okay.
Coach, I can take it.
Okay, for Wendy, you take 2 points of sanity damage and gain 2 points of Cthulhu Mythos.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
If you are just staring at it. In Oliver's case, if you just go full ham, you take 4 points of sanity damage and gain 6 points of Cthulhu Mythos.
Lord. And how I'm gonna be the guy. How much can we take per adventure?
I mean, you're in a safe place now, so sanity damage is actually. You can absolutely go insane in New York. You have way more places of safety and respite, if you will, here, so you can prolong those effects. But 12 in one encounter without being in a safe place, or 5 in one hit.
Got it. So we could potentially recover this.
Yes.
In the week to come. All right. Cecil Davenport continues to stare.
Okay.
I'll give it a go.
Same thing. -4 sanity, +6 Cthulhu Mythos.
Got it.
What does Kelly do? presented with like charts and diagrams, and like it's one of those scenes where the more you talk about the spooky stuff, like the lighting changes in the room and like the shadows get longer and shit's just like the ambiance reflects the world changing power that this knowledge has. It's backed up by these books and these photos, and it's not just some crazy thing. Like, this is real.
Kelly's confused. I mean, not really. Like, he's seen this sort of stuff, and he believes in it more and more, but is more noticing the hair on the back of his neck and kind of having this fight or flight response. I don't think he's looking too hard at any of these diagrams or anything like that, but he's
okay.
Hyper aware of the room, and I would roll sanity for that, maybe. I don't know. For something not to be in the room and to scare him is probably a little bit unnerving.
Yeah, go ahead and roll sanity.
Mr. Murphy, you're a good Catholic. You're a good Catholic lad, and you just watched you would probably understand to be a demon get in the elevator with our benefactor and go upstairs.
Yeah. Probably not great.
Oh.
Yay! He doesn't say anything, though.
We have a new follower. Thank you.
I mean, that's under, so that's good.
Yeah.
21 under 68.
Cool. You take 1 point
he does a Hail Mary, or whatever those are called. I'm not Catholic, I don't know.
That's when you throw the football really hard, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You start chucking footballs to fight off the demons. That sounds right to me.
Okay.
This moment brought to you by Dramaturgy.
You take 1 point of sanity damage, and you gain 2 points of Cthulhu Mythos. All right. Quentin kind of wraps up and leaves you to explore the packets that are on the table, right? When he talks you through this, he gives you like the whole history and breakdown. He shows you photos. He talks about like what Yig is, and Yig is like a scary looking like monstrous serpent god thing that you'd probably see in like a God of War kind of scenario. Just this like vast unending thing. He shows you the photos of that. Shows you things of like drawings of what Shathaga looks like, which is just like this dark underground like reptilian creature that is painted with like crazy teeth or long claws and like slightly different viewings and artistic renditions by the people that have interacted with it. It's all just nuts, but you know what? I mean, you're also ripping face suits off of snake people like as early as 2 weeks ago, so yeah, okay.
Just to think that these things have existed on our world or beyond our world, but have been affecting it constantly. It's madness. And this is what Caduceus is truly trying to fight off.
This is definitely one of our bigger priorities. Is stuff like this, right?
Mr.
Underpin every proto myth in the world at some point or another.
You may be right about that, Oliver. But Mr. Medham, what if he's so aware of this and he just dropped everything before? What was the catalyst for him that he started Caduceus? Did he have an encounter with one of these creatures?
Quentin pauses for a long time and says, "It's not really my place to tell Mr. Medham's story, but I can say this. Newspapers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Had a lot of things to say when Mr. Medham got out of the venture capitalist business and took all of his money and decided to open up Caduceus, right? They thought it was crazy that someone who's set to outpace Rockefeller himself just walked away from the game, right? He did it up and out of the blue one day out of nowhere and decided this was his life's goal instead. So tabloids can say what they want. I think during that time, Mr. Medham had a maybe what you said, change of heart or experience that enlightened him to some of the more real problems in the world.
I can respect that, and I can respect that he can tell his own story. Very well, thank you.
This is a well-known thing, by the way, so just so you're tracking. It's 1923. In 1912, Joshua Medham just sold his entire business empire, basically, and founded Caduceus. Right? And it was a huge thing. Like, it's one of those things that people just kind of know as a tabloid fact because it was such a big deal when it happened.
1923 or 1912?
Pardon?
1923 or 1912?
1923 is the current date. 1912 is when he just walked away from the business venture, right? Specifically in pharmaceuticals. And he just noped out and started Caduceus, which is an easy jump, but like a lot of speculation as to why he did that. So, Quentin gives you more time to sit and process, right? Kind of talk through this stuff among yourselves. And eventually says, look, I know we've talked a lot about we've talked a lot about some pretty heavy topics, and I do want to give you all a chance to go home and get settled and relax. You've been traveling. You've been in Bolivia on a boat. Like, you've been through some rough experiences, and I just want to make sure that make sure that you don't drive yourself into the ground doing this. There's plenty of bad out there, right? And if we're not saving people, and he gestures towards you, right? Then what are we actually trying to save? So I'm happy to sit here and answer questions as long as you need it. I'm also completely willing to understand if you want to take time, go sleep in your own beds, and relax for a few days. Right?
There were...
Guys, I've eaten 3 trays of spinach puffs.
It's a crowd favorite. Well.
There are a number of... Sorry about that, go ahead.
I realize I sort of neglected myself somewhat now on our journey back. And I've been just eating like a brace of hounds since I stepped in here. So I should probably go sleep. Yes,
of course.
Sleep.
There were a number of artifacts and the like, most likely belonging to Tyrannish, that we have found, but some of them are curious. Some of them we've come across enough. He kind of like points at their bracelets, but it might be worth sharing those with Quentin and Shekel here.
Shekels is like, oh yeah, that's the bracelet. Yeah, let me see that. I would love to. You know what?
Yeah,
I'm on it.
Wendy's gonna like hold hers out.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
Can you get it off?
Yeah. I hold on. He like pulls out like a little tool belt and starts like messing with it. He's like, okay, so yes, but right, I can actually get it off. He like kind of messes with it a little bit, starts to uncoil it. The eyes like flare up red for a second. He like just drops the screwdriver and he's like, it's gonna sound weird. I think it likes you or is like bonded to you in a weird way, right? So like I don't think it can I think it's a problem that's on. I think it's a problem if it's not on you anymore. While you have a pulse. Does that make sense? You should probably just leave those on. I think it might react poorly and explode. Hard to tell. Definitely getting some "Don't remove me" vibes from this thing. So, if you really need it off, I can take a little extra time, study it, and see if I can come up with a thing. But definitely don't do like a home remedy butter out of the, get your head out of the railings kind of thing with it. I don't think it's gonna get you where you need to be.
Castor oil, probably out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, wouldn't advise it. But I'll break that down because you said you have an extra somewhere I can mess with.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll play around with that one and see if that's gonna. I'll figure something out. Just don't make it angry.
We'll think of them as commemorative bracelets then.
Yeah. That's there you go. Commemorative bracelets that I just really want to be involved with what you're doing. Yep, that's good. Yep, I'll take a look at the rest of the stuff, and I'll make sure to give you a full write up. Give me 2-3 days. I'll break it all down for you, and I can tell you more or less what a lot of this stuff does. Or at least I think it does. Yeah, I got it. I'm on it. He starts boxing stuff up.
Well, I should probably get home myself. I know we all have presents to give, essays to present. Might be worth, Wendy, with the resources that our dear Professor Oliver here has, and perhaps Caduceus itself. I don't know if you want to go on any more of these excursions, but perhaps it's time that you involve yourself with a very prestigious tutoring program or traveling school, as it were.
I will. Yes, I need to craft a different. I don't think the school trip is gonna fall next time. So I expect I'll get some help from the aunties now that we're bringing back money. But I need a new excuse. At least one that can tide me over long enough for graduation.
Shekels says, if you need to be a part of like a work study program or something, we have a ton that Caduceus sponsors. Bear in mind, we still do a ton of medical research, travel excursions, everything that not excursions, but medical work.
So, my dad would love if I would be a doctor. Yes.
Yeah.
That would look great. Yes.
Yeah, I mean we can put you in a medical program. Now, if you actually want to be a doctor, we can't hand wave it. So if you want to do doctor stuff, you got to do that. But we can also just put you in the program so your parents don't, are good with you traveling.
Doctor stuff could be good.
Yeah. Yeah, doctor stuff is cool. So
the only plan I have. So.
He hands you a little Caduceus, join the medical Caduceus Corps or whatever, and it's just yeah, this is how you enroll.
Internship. Yeah.
Yep. Cool thing, it's unpaid. We pay entirely in exposure. No, I'm just kidding. We have a ton of money. We definitely make sure our people are covered. Just good
exposure joke, right? To dangerous pathogens.
Right. But yeah, if that helps, take it, please.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think one by one you kind of just depart, right? Quentin makes sure to get all the information back from you before you leave the library, and he locks it up in a little safe in the back. Kind of like a restricted section where he just keeps that kind of stuff. And wishes you a good night as you kind of head home, right? I would like all of you to make a spot hidden as you are leaving. You kind of get back to the elevator. Inside the elevator, you recognize it's the standard doorman. He's back now in his position on a little stool. And he just takes you down to the bottom floor, waves you a good night. You go outside. There's some cars waiting for you to take you where you need to go. What'd you roll?
I got an 11, so that's an extraordinary success for me.
Might be you.
Yeah.
18, just normal.
Okay.
Oh, sheesh. Oliver.
56. It's a fail.
Nice. So, as you succeed, make sure to check those boxes, right? Extreme success gets it. Wendy, you are certain as you get picked up, and there's a car available to you to go home. You don't have to take it, but it's very clear that like every time you visit Caduceus, they have people on standby to drive you back to where you need to go. Right. I guess the first question is, do you just jump in the car?
No.
Okay.
Partly because she kind of wants to like do the walk back, and doesn't want to be dropped off like in front of, like the laundry or the restaurant or anything, in like the company car because too many questions.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she's
okay.
Either gonna say no or be like, yeah, you need to like drop me, not near. Yeah.
Yeah, they. You can walk back. It's not too bad. It gives you some time to like process and think, like you're saying. You believe, as you were walking, you're just heading down the streets at night, that there is. You start seeing the same couple of people in different places as you're heading home. They're doing a very good job kind of trying to blend in. But the fact of the matter is, like, you recognize their faces, and even though, like, next time you see them, they have a different coat, or the next time you see them, their posture's a little different, or they put on a hat, but you recognize their faces. You catch those glimpses in, like, the street lights or in the headlights of a car. And you realize that, yeah, you are in fact being followed, and were picked up leaving Caduceus. You are not sure if others are being followed as well.
Did everybody else take a car?
I'm not walking, no.
Lord Cecil Davenport walking?
Never.
Please. So, does anybody else walk though?
Car.
No.
Wendy's not gonna go home.
Okay.
She's gonna pick to like, not even go to like her closest auntie's restaurant. Like she's gonna go to another one. So like still, within Chinatown-y kind of area, but not home. And like do her best to like obviously slip in, like go in the front, not hiding at all, but like this is not where I actually spend most of my time. The like general neighborhood isn't giving them any information that they probably didn't already have. And she's gonna like lay low for a couple of hours, like saying hello to, cousins, like, help take care of the kids for a little bit, kind of a thing, just to like, yeah, this is totally home, before checking out and trying to go actually back to home, like, and the laundry in the apartment above it afterward. So, other spot hidden, probably?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I know that's fair.
Yeah, you burn a couple hours, and when you come out, that tail is gone. Or to the best of your knowledge, you don't see them again. But there's no question in your mind from Caduceus till that point you were followed deliberately. Yeah. So let's pan over to Kelly. Kelly, where you heading first? Heading back home to see Ma?
Oh yeah, first thing.
All right. Up in Queens, right?
Yep.
Cool.
Home sweet home.
Home sweet home. Yeah, you get driven back. It's a pretty good night, honestly. It's a little late when you come in. Carrie and Alex are asleep. Your ma is up, right? She's up, kind of just around the house, right?
Are we back in time, like within the time frame that I gave?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, time's a little really wobbly. What I want to do is just express like the passage of time. I don't want to be like, oh, you were gone for 2 weeks and 3 days, not 2 weeks and 5 days.
Understood.
So now your mom's mad. Like,
yeah,
you're within the parameters of the reasonable amount of time you said you were going to be gone.
Cool.
All right. Now, if real talk, there are absolutely possibilities that you like crash or destroy your mode of transportation and do not come back in a reasonable amount of time. We'll deal with that if it happens.
Okay.
So we're not there yet. It's only chapter 1, 2.
Great.
But you walk in and she like looks very relieved to see you.
Yeah.
And it's just like she gives you a smile and just says, "It's a little late, isn't it?"
Ma, what are you talking about? I'm right on time. Give me a hug.
Good to see you. And she like gives you this big warm hug. And just holds on to you for like a good 15 seconds. And just gives you that extra like, oh, we're breaking away now. And goes in for a little more. And just says, oh, let me get a look at you. Oh, you look good. You look good. How was your trip? How did it go?
It was good. Feeling like I got the right training that I needed. I'm excited to go to the gym, but look, I got you. Completely trying to pull her attention away. Got you a gift.
She does not even notice the wrapping. She's so happy just to see you.
Yes.
Good. And like you unravel this like beautiful tapestry, and she's like, "Holy cow!" Wow,
what do you think? Here? Over here?
I think in the living room. That looks amazing. Oh wow, no, you did. Oh, you didn't have to do that. That's so nice of you. You didn't have to do this so much.
Well, you think I'm gonna go somewhere and not bring you something home? Who do you think raised me? Of course I'm not gonna do that.
No, I love it. I love it. Let's put it on that wall over there. It'll look good, especially when the light comes in, right? Oh man, and she helps you to hang it up, and sits back and admires it for a second. She's like, so it's beautiful, but like, what is it?
Nah, I don't know. You go into these places and they try and sell you stuff, and I just thought it looked nice. I thought it would look good in the room. So
it does.
I don't know. What do you think it is? You ever seen anything like
I'm
it before?
picturing like the Bayou tapestry with snake people.
Yeah, 100%. And she's just like,
it's just like Kama Sutra snake people or something.
Oh no.
I genuinely didn't ask what was on the tapestry at all up to this point, so whatever it is, that's fine.
Oh man. She kind of thinks for a second, just says like, what I think it is I think it's beautiful, and I think it's a wonderful gift. So, and I think someone took a lot of time to make this, and I think you took a lot of time to find something real nice to bring this room together. So, yeah.
I do my best. What's in the fridge?
Oh, I got. I can whip you up something right now. And she starts like pulling food out, and it's like 2 a.m. She's like, I can make anything you want. Like I'm good for it. So I'm just.
I don't have. Did I have one of the bracelets? I don't remember if I did or not.
There's enough for all of us.
There are enough for everyone. I know that Wendy put one on.
I was about to say, I don't think I put one on, but I could go back and check the tapes at some point. I'm gonna try and while she does that, I'm gonna throw my bags or whatever else in what I consider to be a safe space in her home. I guess our home.
Yeah.
Somewhere I know she's not gonna go nosing around.
100%. Yeah, she starts like, making some food, makes you like a sandwich and some soup and everything, get you settled in. You know that Carrie and Alex are around the house. You kind of like poke your head into their rooms, and they're fast asleep. They're looking like very relaxed, and kind of does your heart good to see them, right?
Yeah, probably like gently kiss him on the forehead, and then leave him alone.
A bit of a sleep murmur, but both of them just like roll over, give you a smile, and go back to sleep.
Right, cool.
And then, your mom just is like, so. I made some food. I'm glad to see you. Tell me about your trip if you want. If not, I can hear all about it in the morning. I'm just happy to have you back. It hasn't been the same without you.
Yeah, I guess I'll kind of tell her about the boat rides or whatever, anything that was in the realm of possibility without describing any of the horrific details. And I guess kind of after I finish a quick recap of the mundane stuff, ask her why she's up. I don't know what time it would be, but like, is it typical for her to be up this late?
It's definitely late because you came in at night on a cargo ship and then went through all that stuff with Caduceus. So it's like 2, 3 in the morning. It's not typical for her to be up this late. For her to be up this late. Those are words.
Got it. All right, I'll kind of turn it back on her a little bit and be like, "Why are you up so late? I don't know. We got church in the morning. What are you doing?"
Look, I know you're an adult. I know you can take care of yourself, but that doesn't mean don't worry, right? So, that's not for you to worry about. That's for me. But like, some nights I get to thinking like, I hope you're doing all right. It's one of those nights.
Ma, you don't have to worry about me, and I'm gonna see if I can't. There's not like an insight, but I don't even think I have. What is it?
Psychology.
I don't even have Oh no, I have 10. Well, it's very low. We'll see if not a people person. Let's find out. No, 71.
If for your mom, I'm willing to substitute like if you have charm in there as well.
I have intimidate.
I don't think.
I know what's going on.
I don't want to do that.
That's not the one.
Spot hidden. Like that's the only. I don't have anything else really.
What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to suss out and see if she really is like worried about me or if something else is on her mind.
That's an easy one. Like as you.
Okay.
To be fair, roll luck. Actually, this is the way to do this one.
Okay. Is luck one of the? Oh, there it is. All right, fine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh Lord.
We're gonna make a story decision based on this roll.
Can I push a luck roll with luck? That doesn't work, does it? I'm 1 over. My luck total is 23, and I rolled a 24.
All right. Technically, no. Technically, you cannot push a luck roll. In this instance, since it's a very interesting story decision I'm making, if you want to push it, go for it.
Yeah, I'm concerned. She shouldn't be up this late. I fully expected to come home. What do you want? You want me to roll again?
Yeah. Just keep in mind this is like a double or nothing. So if you fail again,
Nah, I care about it too much.
Okay.
Oh God.
You said okay. So you rolled. You were not successful.
No, I rolled a 28 this time. It's not as bad as it would, but it's still a fail.
So, when your mom is just concerned about you, right? You know that vibe. You have that level of rapport with her. This is not that. Right?
Worse? Better?
Seems worse. Right? there's something else that's got your mom kind of on edge.
Okay.
There is concern for you. It's also
Right.
much deeper. And she says, actually, you didn't ask her any questions. So yeah, she's like, yeah, I know you can take care of yourself. I just worry sometimes. You know, that's my that's my job as a mom. But like, that's not something you gotta take care of.
Well, I gotta take care of you. You're my ma, so
Ah,
it's a balance. We give and we take and we love and bada bing, bada boom.
Of course, you know those are family words. Bada bing, bada boom. You know, that's why we have them on the metal place over there. Yeah, I'm with it.
Your brain started singing Hamilton, so you're good.
But what I gotta ask. All right. I don't think it's not that I don't trust you. I just there's something. Is there something that you're not telling me about the past couple weeks? They've been. Ever since you left, about a week afterwards, Carrie was saying there was just some people lurking around. You know, look around the house and around. Yeah.
Around the neighborhood?
Yeah, around the neighborhood. It kind of just got me worried, you know, and.
I mean, I'm telling you what you need to know, but if people start showing up around here, you gotta tell me, and I need to protect this house.
You don't like owe people money or something, do you? Like it's not gonna.
No.
Okay.
Right? I don't.
you tell me.
As a boxer, I have decent money. Like I know my credit in this is pretty high, so like you know I'm able to take care of myself and my family.
Yeah, you don't have any like outstanding debt to like Jimmy,
No.
you know, Facebreaker or whatever.
No.
Yeah, you're in the clear with all the shady people that you know of.
Now listen, Ma. I don't want you to worry about that, but if you do notice something, you gotta tell me. None of this, you know, wishy-washy stuff. If Carrie sees something, if you see something, I need to know about it. I need to protect you guys. And listen. I know you're not a super fan of Coach, but he will come and he will protect you. So he's a resource. You got to use him. You got his number. You know where he's at. Plenty of guys at the gym can come over and keep an eye on the house too. They all owe me favors, so you know we got to make sure you're safe. I promise. I'm not leaving you in the dark here. I'm telling you what you need to know. Okay?
Okay. No, sounds good. I just wanted to. And she like kind of composes herself and says, I'll let you know from now on, but I'm just so happy to have you back.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
But
We'll give her a hug and kind of. We don't have a TV, right? I don't know. We'll just hang and talk out. I want her to fill me in on all the neighborhood gossip and what happened at church.
Of course.
And all that, so.
You know what Eileen said? Eileen said to me the other day. She said it was the wildest thing. And like,
Eileen.
yeah, and her hats, right? Her hats are out of control. But so she just goes off on this like hot goss.
Okay, great.
Right? Like, who are you trying to impress? Really, Eileen? Come on.
God?
Yeah.
God doesn't care.
God doesn't care how tall your hat is. What is it, the Tower of Babel? Come on, you're not building that thing. Like, you know what happened. She goes off.
Good.
Pours the tea, if you will. But yeah, it's in the back of your head now. They're like people lurking around the house. It's a little unusual.
As she goes to bed, I'm beat, but I'm, gonna maybe kind of sit by the windows and just keep an eye on the street if it's lit and stay out of the window, but just kind of keep an eye out a little bit later. Probably end up fall asleep in that chair on the couch or whatever.
Roll spot hidden.
Oh God. Come on, I haven't got a single roll this entire time, except for sanity, which I guess is good.
Yeah. Keep your sanity.
Fuck. No. Fail. Failing my family.
So, empty streets, long night, stomach full of super sandwiches. You watch it for about 20 minutes and eventually just fall asleep. Right?
Alright.
Nothing seen. Let's go to Cecil. Right? You get into the car, right? Leaving Caduceus. There's a driver there. You give him the address back to your and Saoirse's house, and he starts driving. Unless there's somewhere else you want to
go. Cecil probably makes like small talk because he knows that he's probably going to see this driver again. He wants to be in like good graces. So just like asks like, so what's the crack about town? And like, just kind of like asks what's going on.
What is the crack about town?
What is the crack about town?
Make me flip through my book. So. This. Well, it's honestly, no one ever really asks, actually. All sorts of stuff. Like, Yankees are supposed to be heading towards the World Series. They're doing real well this year. So I think they're actually gonna pull it off because, greatest city in the world, right? New York. But
he said, "Dear's a boy," like in surprise. So,
so that's going well. Caduceus been busy recently, but I guess that's good for business, but like nonprofit. But like, I just gotta make money, right? Because someone's paying me. But yeah, like a lot of people in and outs. Especially the last like week or so, some things just really kicked off. So I guess you guys are busy, and that's good, right? Or bad, I guess, if you're responding to humanitarian stuff. Anyway,
good that we're responding to it is what it is.
That's the way it is. Good that there's a lot of people that care, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's been good. Yeah, I like this job a lot. I've been on it for just a couple weeks, but happy to be here. I got to drive up here. I got to drive to hey, roll charm or persuade for me, because there's some cool stuff that this dude might be able to help you out with.
That's fantastic. I'm going to roll one more time because that's my thing. The first one had it, just regular success.
Hot goss. As you're talking and building some rapport, he's like, "Oh, name's Rick, by the way. Been on for a couple weeks. You've been out of town. You don't know? Did you hear about the break-in?
The break-in? Where would that be?
It's... He like looks around. He knows the only two of you in the car, and is like,
mm-hmm.
I actually probably shouldn't say anything about it. Like, he looks kind of guilty. Like, he got way too comfortable real quick with this like back and forth rapport, and he's just like,
"It's just between us, lads."
All right, yeah, you probably, because I really don't want to get fired. Like, I like this job a lot.
Lips are sealed. You're a great driver.
All right, I heard Mr. DeLuca, Frank DeLuca, he's the Caduceus chief of security, talking about a break-in up at Joshua Benham's house. It's pretty.
I'm sorry. A break-in.
Say
that one more time.
In Mr. Medham's house.
Oh.
His house upstate. It's a big deal, apparently. They're trying to keep it hush-hush, but they hired a lot more security. Things got like pretty intense for a couple of days. A lot of scrutiny. So I guess good thing you missed that. But when I was made it rough coming in, because I'm the new guy, and they're asking me questions, and I barely know I barely know anybody's name, and they're asking me all sorts of stuff that I just don't know how to answer.
That's oh, dear boy. I'm sorry to hear that.
But
well, none of our business, I suppose.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm just just between you and I,
between lads,
of course. Because it feels like, it feels like you and I are just vibing.
Maybe someday we'll grab a whiskey or two together.
Oh, you mean it? Yeah, that'd be great. I've been looking to make some friends in town.
I know plenty of good places. I'll show you around Rick. This might be me coming up though.
Oh yeah, no, this is you. Hey, thanks for talking. A lot of people just get in and they just they have their papers or they're just busy doing something. So then this is thanks.
Happy to make a friend.
And have a good night.
And he tips him, and waves him off, and then looks around and adjust all of the crazy amount of suitcases and whatever that he brought along but didn't really use.
It's like helping you unload all this stuff. He's like, you got a lot of stuff, Al. You know what? It's all good. Like, I'm perfectly happy to help.
I have expected to sunbathe, but that didn't happen.
Sorry to hear
that. Takes it all in and then make sure he also has his crazy tapestry. Question Oliver brought up: how cursed are these tapestries? If Oliver and Cecil kind of combined powers in order to check it out.
I mean, a scale of 1 to 10, probably at the lower end, but I'll say this: you have more cursed items in your inventory already.
What's one more?
What's one more?
Not
already.
So,
okay.
Not terribly cursed. So
okay.
Their aesthetic is worth the curse problems they bring.
Great. Well, he brings that in and tries to be quiet, although he knows that Saoirse kind of has an extra sensory perception herself about when I come in and out. So he tries to be quiet, but he looks around to see if there's any lighting or anything like that.
I feel like the two of you in close proximity can sense one another, right?
The twin thing.
Yeah. Excuse me. The house looks immaculate, right?
Mm-hmm.
All the additional charred pieces have been removed while you were gone, and new floors been put down, new rugs, new tables been bought, new couches. It looks like it never happened in the first place. As you can kind of come in, Saoirse's awake. You kind of sense that she's moving about her room, but doesn't immediately come out. As you kind of start to unpack and get settled in. She just kind of poke her head out eventually and just goes, "So, how was your trip?"
It was a bit of a doozy. And it's I'm happy to. I have a little bit of life left in me. I'm happy to put on a wee bit of tea, and give you the entire readout of it. Only if you want to. There's always time tomorrow morning.
I say you to get settled in, and then we'll talk about it over breakfast. All right.
Sounds good to me. Good to see you.
Likewise, you look good. Yeah, you look.
I burned a little bit, but
well,
I was hoping it was turning into a tan, but no time for sunbathing down there. Quite busy.
She kind of says, "All right, well, get some rest. It's late." All right.
Aye.
So you have a chance to sleep, and the next morning, kind of sets out some some food, some tea, when you get up, is very interested in your trip, right? She could tell that you were just exhausted as you walked in the door, and just says, "All right, so now that we have some tea on, have some food."
First, he unveils a different tapestry.
Oh,
he's like,
why did
I
you get
thought
that?
the purple. I'm not going to hide any information from you. There are some things that I might not be able to talk too much about, but knowing you, you'll find a way of getting it out of me anyway, or you'll figure it out on your own. And so he like talks a little bit, like he prepares her, because he's like, this involves you, and I don't know if you want to get involved with Caduceus, but he like prepares her for some crazy stuff, but he doesn't go into like we found this like sleeping queen or anything like that, or the fact that all of these weird gods exist. But he says like there are some creepy people down there. They may be otherworldly, like we've had experience with. Um, and he just talks a little bit about the adventure. Like he might go into the description of like the giant snake that came alive, but won't go into the fact that he saved this like dreamer or anything like that.
Okay.
So he like gives her just enough, um, but knowing that she's clued in, he doesn't like hold back too much, if that makes sense.
Yeah. She listens, she nods, she asks a few like follow up questions as you sit there and talk to her, and she ultimately after hearing everything like takes a sip of her tea and says, "You know, at the end of the day, your business with Caduceus is your own. But I appreciate you filling me in.
Of course.
You might hear this question a lot, but this is the one I'm going to have to ask, and that is, do you feel like you have everything handled? Do you feel like you have everything under control?"
Oh, from before, or
And going forward, because that's a lot.
I understand where you're going with this, Saoirse, and I appreciate you asking, and I appreciate your concern. I think I have it. In fact, there's somebody at Caduceus that might be able to help me train to be to keep everything under control. But no episodes. I didn't wander off at any point. Good lads and a good young lass to keep track of me. And I think things might actually be looking up. As crazy as some of this stuff might have been, I think this might exactly be where I belong. I'd be happy to introduce you to any of the Caduceus folk. If you were to want to know anything else, they may be a little bit hush hush, and they may be politely withholding, but I think this might be exactly where I need to be. The teacher, she can probably do what I do, but is much more experienced in it, and I think that's a good thing. She seems kind. She seems gentle.
I think you're right. You seem very. You seem like you had a lot with you when you came back, but you also seem very settled. So I think the way this is going is good for you. Of course, I'd be more than happy to meet anybody from Caduceus. I'm more than happy to help out where I can. But yeah, just I'm always concerned about you, and it seems like you're taking care of yourself. So
Appreciate this.
I'm glad.
And like he asks her about like any news from like Melody Sterling or any of the people at that organization. Um, and if you remember them,
Roll luck.
oh, sorry,
Roll luck.
roll luck.
Yeah. What's fun is that every now and then you all will ask a question where I'm like, yeah, this is a great plot intersect. Roll luck.
That is. Wait, that's fine. I have a crazy amount of luck now, and I got a 71. So yeah.
She says, she talks about like rebuilding the living room for a little while and like how long it took her to, it took her forever to find a couch to replace the last one because like it just, it's there's an aesthetic I'd like to keep, and it just took some time. But all that stuff aside, where to put the tapestry, and then goes into that's the darndest thing. So the Sterlings, of course, are doing well, and I think they're having another, open mind group meeting in a couple of days. I left a note around here somewhere if you want to attend. Turns out, I don't know if you know this. Spencer Brooks, the guy with the scarf from the Vanguard Club.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, landed a full-time contract with Caduceus, pilot.
Oh, he's a pilot now. Oh, well, I mean, he's always been a pilot, but he's working for Caduceus now.
Yeah, but that's the darndest thing, because how he goes on and on about like, oh, and I'm trying to find something that's worth my time and worth my adventure, however he says it.
We get it, Spencer. You want some work.
So he signed up for a very long contract with them to help out. So I don't know what they told him, but he seemed to be on board.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So
now we have to hear about, instead of listening to him say, "Oh, these are all the adventures I want," it's these are all the adventures I'm about to have now, because he's not to take away from his moment, right?
No, but not at all. He deserves it. That and more.
Yes. So that's new, for
sure. So you've been speaking to him. Is there something there?
Oh no. No.
Oh yeah, I'm just checking.
Fucking dice. Excuse me. Hey, would you consider that a good or a bad thing? Just like you as a character.
Her dating a pilot.
Yeah.
He feels like she would be a good fit for Caduceus. She's already clued in because her home like emptied into like the Brown City or wherever it was. So I feel like she was thrown in the deep end. She already knows some stuff. And through our history, like she's already clued in. I think he would be fine with it. Like he wants her to find love.
Yeah, she gives you there's like a pause when you say that, and she goes, "You have a way of just seeing right through me." There's nothing there per se, but they're supposed to have dinner tomorrow, so maybe there's something. So he asked if people wanted to celebrate, and yeah, I said yes, and then I guess it's just the two of us. So
well, I'll make sure to make myself scarce if you're having it here.
Oh, if you go for so long, I'll be out. Don't worry about that.
All right, I appreciate it. Nice to sleep in my own bed. I do have a little bit of an errand to run. One of the folks guiding us, unfortunately, passed very early on in our excursion. And he like explains like what's his name again? Arturo. And he's like, yeah, he just asked me to give a note to his family, let him know that he passed.
That's very sad, but yeah, of course.
Very sad, but seemed to pass with grace.
Nice. Sorry, not nice, but in my brain, I thought it was something else.
Yeah, no trouble, but
Of course.
yeah. And he, like, they talk about like little tiny things, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Catch up.
Mhm.
Cool. You'll have a chance to go see Arturo later. That'll be way too easy. You kind of spin around towards Oliver, right? So you leave Caduceus as well, right? Heading out that night. The driver outside waiting for you to take you back to your house or the college. I don't know if you're actually done researching or if you just said you're going home. Like, I don't know where Oliver is right now.
Know?
You know.
How did you know I wanted to go to my office at the university and not home?
What a surprise.
So I'll be sort of sitting there going over my notes in the car. I might occasionally notice the passing of a street light, but the driver is just sort of furniture, and everything is all about the text on the page. So close to finding some insight. I just need a little bit more quiet and focus, and to get out of this. How's there so much traffic at 2 a.m. anyway? I don't understand.
I feel that. Yeah, you try to focus, and you finally get out of that traffic. You get back to your office. Zachary, Glenn, and Emily have done a good job doing research for you while you were gone. Right? They were looking more into the box of stars, and you can see even they have very clearly compiled a bunch of information. There's tons of books out. Stuff is neatly organized and notes have been made, but there's very clearly an effort for the last couple of weeks to break into stuff and find more details about what you asked. Grad students do good, yes.
Yes.
So
good.
they've been diligently researching that. What do you want to try to crack into specifically? The scrolls you have, some of the artifacts you've recovered, the information that's out about the box of stars. I'm sure you want to crack into all of it. What's your priority? That was the first one.
Actually, I think that what's going to make the most sense for Oliver right now is to just kind of go to the office, turn on a little lamp on the beside the couch. And then stare at the paper for a second and just kind of immediately collapse. Dude has been going hard and just is going to wake up to somebody closing the door as they arrive for work the next morning.
Do me a favor, roll two things. Roll Mythos and then roll Luck.
Okay. So Mythos is a 23, which, yep, that works. That's a success.
Okay.
Luck also works. Yeah, I'm on... Ooh. Two regular successes.
As you fall asleep, studying these with all this just stuff around you, these Mythos items, right? You feel a strange connection or sensation, right? You have this Nicole in your brain now. You have these literal scrolls just burnt into your memories. And unfortunately, that is accessible by your subconscious, who is constantly trying to decode what is happening here. And what you start to feel is a similar sensation to that night, or to the afternoon when Saoirse's and Cecil's living room opened up and into a literal effing volcano with a city resting above it, right? That sensation of magical potential right before that rift opened up. And as you
I really like this couch.
as you feel it, you feel the panic of the other people that are with you, right? The others who have been working through to stabilize this rift and speaking in the call. And they turn to you and they say in the call, "We need to stop this. It's too dangerous." And a voice behind you that you turn to see but can't quite get the angle on says, "No. Proceed." With absolute clarity, and exerts almost a will into that demand. And very quickly, everything that you're working on falls apart. But instead of fiery death, you're met with the sensation of just cold nothingness. And you can feel your body start to just harden, solidify. Not in ice, we realize, like, but permanently trapped in almost like a stasis of it's of power or something that just locks you in place. And all you have, unfortunately, are your thoughts as you realize you were trapped in this form. And you wake up and realize that your brain is clamoring for home. That one word in the call in English that kind of echoes through your head over and over. Home, home, home. And realize that has failed. Someone knocks on the door and says, "Professor, you got a visitor."
What? Who? Yeah, be right there, and I'll sort of like straighten my jacket and like my tie back, try and slick back my hair. God, I look like death. I haven't shaved. Okay, yeah, come in, and I'll sort of shove some stuff off of the desk and like try and look halfway presentable.
You open the door, and Zach is there, and he's just like, "Look, I'm sorry. I knew you got back late. I tried to just give you a day, but like he really wanted to talk about budgets. You see Professor Strafani standing there in his like tweed jacket. He's like, "Oh, well, you're back. That's good. That's good. We do need to talk about your, of course, visits and the expenses to the school and how we're going to go through all that paperwork." And it like very clearly has like a mountain of bureaucracy with him to just justify like your field time and endeavors, which is like the worst possible thing to do right now.
I still have my bracelet on, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, what is that?
I'm just gonna look at him. What? I'm just gonna look at him, and I'll give him one shot. I'll say, "I really don't think now is the moment, Professor. I'm sorry, and I see you this afternoon."
All right. Well, he like smooths down his mustache. Well, fine. I'll leave this here, and he like just leaves a phone book of paperwork and just says, "Just start filling them out, and we'll talk about it over late lunch, perhaps." It's could you have you back, Professor Inverness? And then proceeds to start yelling at another student. You hear him like walk off down the hallway, and he's just like, "Who authorized this maintenance?" And like he's just yelling about some other shit down the way. Being a curmudgeonly old person, turn that music down. So.
Sure.
But
man, I wanted to explode his papers, but that's fine.
he read the room. I was like, he very much failed his intimidate check. So I was even going to have you make one, or his resolve, if you will. But yeah, so Zachary's just like, sorry, Professor. I tried to stop him. He was very insistent about talking about budgets. He saw, I guess, the light on.
No.
You can't tell the dean
matter.
no.
I'll deal with it later. Oh, you can.
I mean, you can. You have tenure. I don't have that. I just I have this, and if I lose it, I have lost everything. But welcome back.
Don't worry. With what we're going to publish from this set of discoveries, you'll get tenure anywhere you want it, I'm sure.
How'd the trip go?
University, Cambridge, Caltech, Atlantis, wherever.
I don't know if they do.
What did you say?
I don't know if they give tenure at Atlantis anymore, or ever did. I'll come back later. I just want to we can talk about the trip and kind of Emily and Glenn and I were a little. We'll talk after you talk with the dean. It's good to see you back, Professor.
Yes. I have some things to. I'll see you all for dinner. How about that? We'll have dinner at the apartment. It'll be nice, and I'll send one of the university cooks, so you all, Glenn and Emily won't have to do it. Yes, dinner.
That'd be great.
That'd be good.
Yeah. Okay. I'll see you then. Yeah. Have a good one, and then leaves awkwardly. But yeah, you have this information of that sensation of home still kind of rattling around in your brain, distracting you. It's fading, but it's real. One of the things that you notice is it feels like Oh, the feeling, the sensation you had felt real. Like it felt like something was tried and failed, but has happened. This was not a vision of some type. This felt like you were there and it happened to you.
Something in the scrolls that I got from Tyrannish is now stuck and wants to go home. I want to go home, or both.
You believe the scrolls can be used in that way, and however they were used in that case was not correct. Like the math was wrong. Someone didn't carry one. Whatever the case was.
Gotcha. Okay. Hold on.
But it means there are other people out there who potentially have this knowledge.
Okay. All right. I'm with you. Cool. So, I will make some sort of madly scribbled notes for about an hour or so, and then probably take the stack of shit from the dean back to my house and start to work on it. I might remember to stop at the kitchens. I might not. I don't know. We'll see.
Start to come through. I do want to get back to your house. I want to do Wendy and then wrap just because of the time constraints, right? But I want to give you a chance to talk to your
yes,
the rest of your family when we start back up. Wendy, so you felt like you were being followed. That sensation went away. You got back to get back home, right? Of course, Auntie is up working. She tends to work pretty late, right? Sorry, you said you went back to the restaurant or the laundromat?
Laundry.
Okay.
Went to separate restaurants, throw a decoy, and then back to the actual laundry below our apartment.
Cool. As you go back to the laundry and get settled in, I think there's an initial part where she just sees you. She's happy to catch up with you, and then just says, "It is it's good to see you, but it's also very, very late. Um, do you need anything before tomorrow? I'd like to hear about your trip, but I want to give you time to rest."
Like Wendy's gonna be already like taking all of the stuff from her pack and like getting it situated in a machine so that it's gonna be like doing its own washing.
Mm-hmm.
And she's gonna like, can I throw anything else in with this? Like, is anything from my dad? How's he holding up?
His he is okay. He's doing well. Excuse me. Roll psychology, please. There's enough of a hesitation to cause concern.
This is good. Yeah, no, that's still a fail. No.
Something's off, but it's hard to tell what. But she smiles at you and says, "But we can talk about that another in the morning. I just want to make sure that you're back. You'll get settled in, and maybe no need to come back to work tomorrow, but certainly the day after, right? To get settled back in."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Auntie, I got offered an internship.
Oh.
It's a fancy way of saying that I'm apprenticing with someone. They want me to start work coming up, but if you don't think Dad's gonna be okay,
I think that would make your father.
You know I would help. The money would come back here. You know that.
I think that would make your father very proud and very happy to hear that, and I should tell him. He would be very happy. She gets you settled in, and I apologize. I'm kind of fast forwarding you a little bit, but she gets you settled in, right? Because there's a good conversation we're gonna have. I think start next session, but she gets you settled in. The next morning, right? She's down in the laundry. You're kind of catching up with her, and she's about to fill you in on your dad, and you can hear the ding of the bell at someone at the front, and she says, I know I said no work today, but can you go see what they need real quick? I'm so swamped, right?
Yeah, like straighten her like shirt jacket bit and like make sure she's not completely unpresentable, and like put her feet back in shoes and usher up to the front. And, like, yes, we're here.
And you see,
what can I do for you?
You see, and I think you stop short for a second, because you know this face. This is the same face that kept popping up last night, right, as you were walking back and forth through the streets, and you recognize now he's got a bit of like a hooked nose, kind of missing a tooth over here, right? He's got kind of a squished in face, nice dark hat, dark coat, pretty fancy suit, with like a little bit of a gold chain tied into one of the vest pockets, and he's got a additional coat slung over his arm. And he says, "Yeah, maybe you can help me."
Does he have any laundry with him? Like, does he have anything else with him?
Just a coat. And he says really loudly, kind of looking in the back, "Hey, yeah, maybe you can help me out. I just got a coat for some cleaning real quick. Just want to drop that off." And he slides you a piece of paper as he hands you the coat. He says, "So, I could pick this up today, same day." And the paper says, "Welcome back." So I have one thing that's important. I want to make sure I get this right. It says, "Welcome back. We'd like to invite you to dinner to speak about your recent activities with Caduceus." And it's signed.
Is this like folded, or is this
it's like a little folded piece of paper he slides to you, and it's signed Joseph Giuseppe. And it has an address and a time on it for later tonight. It says in a low voice, "And bring your friends. There's some stuff about Caduceus I think you're going to want to know." Yeah, so I'll pick this up tonight after 8. Right? That's good? Yeah, just the code.
All right, this level of staying definitely tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning? Okay, sounds good. Just put a rush on it, right? It's a real urgent priority.
And she's gonna like take like a little cloth and like spit in it and like do this on the clothes, like coat a little bit. Like, yeah, get out.
And he gives you a look, kind of like tips the brim of his hat and walks out. And we'll call session there. Right? So there's a few more things to resolve with family, but there's some other stuff going on in New York. So let's see where that goes next time on Two-Headed Serpent. So thank you all for tuning in. Remember, this is for Extra Life, so we got a donation earlier. Thank you for that. If you think it's a cool cause, donate to our cause, donate to Extra Life in general. I don't really care who you donate to as long as the money goes to something positive, right? That's really the whole point. Like, subscribe, follow on all those platforms. We're on Discord, we're on Twitter. Just get involved, stay tuned, and then next week Will's up with his awesome space adventure, and we'll be back the week after that. So thank you, and we're out.